Yeah, that is correct, and my pilot just told me we're doing 115 miles an hour and barely keeping up with him. So.
Wow. Yeah, this guy, you wonder if that small car can even handle that, but I guess it is.
We're fortunate that it's outside the loop there and outside the Beltway that this is going on, because it still is a heavy traffic time for many motorists who are still heading home from work right now. It doesn't look as though the traffic is super bad there. There he comes up pretty close to a truck there in that scene, but it certainly would be a lot more congested if he were in the city proper.
Yeah, it's a good thing that he's at least out of the loop. So far on the east side here, headed eastbound on I-10. This vehicle has been running now for how long, Andy, has this chase been going on? Just the past 10 and 15 minutes?
At least 5 to 10 minutes. We picked him up on eastbound I-10 just outside the belt is where we came up with him with 3 other police officers behind him. So it's been going for a little while now.
And Andy, you say you're doing about 115 in that chopper?
According to the pilot, Sky Eye is doing 115 miles an hour right now and having a hard time keeping up with them.
Well, I know we often, in situations like this where there are police pursuits, don't know exactly what prompted the pursuit. You said you had some information regarding what you thought was some kind of traffic stop. If you could again, Andy, help us understand that a little more clearly.
Well, the information is still coming in. We thought it was a traffic stop, and then he might have carjacked a person on I-10, and we believe this is the car that he did carjack. We're trying to get that information squared away.
Okay, I'm sorry, Andy. We just got some information in our ear that they believe this suspect might be involved in murder, might be a murder suspect, which would certainly prove to give him a very strong incentive for trying to get away from police, and they believe this murder suspect may have carjacked, as you said, a vehicle to try and get away from the scene or from police.
And they're also saying that he is believed to be armed. So we're looking here, and this is according to the information we have received, apparently an armed suspect who is possibly involved in some sort of murder, now on the run, and carjacked this vehicle. So in his mind, I guess, he has every reason to run, but police are hot on his tail. But he is cruising at speeds at over 100 miles an hour, at least if you judge it by what our chopper is flying at.
Andy, can you tell us whether or not police have been able to at all get ahead of him? Obviously, he's moving very fast, but they certainly can call into departments that are further down I-10 eastward. Again, for people just tuning into us, this is happening outside of the Beltway on I-10 east, headed toward Baytown. We have not been able to, from our picture that we're looking at there from Sky, see any police vehicles. So we need a sense from you as to whether or not police vehicles are close behind him or whether any are in front of him.
Well, that's the most amazing thing. I pulled out the shot just a little while ago to see if there was anyone behind him, and I can't see anyone behind him. And I just had Matt, the pilot, look above on I-10 eastbound, and he hasn't seen any flashing lights above there as well. So as of right now, no, there is no one trailing him or anyone above us.
Now, we just crossed several freeways there. Was that the Beltway? Was that the East Beltway? Okay.
Yeah, that was the Beltway.
All right, so now we're beyond the East Beltway and continuing to cruise eastbound there on 10. And now he's exiting, it appears. Yeah, he's exited the East Tex Freeway, not the East Tex, the eastbound I-10. And now he's on the frontage road, and wow, what a speed he is carrying on the frontage road.
Is there a police helicopter in the air near you?
They're trying to catch up to us right now, according to the pilot. The HPD helicopter is trying to catch up along with the ground units as well.
So right now we are the best, the one closest on him. If you said no officers are behind him or in front of him.
We are on the front lines of this. He did take off on the feeder road, and I just lost him behind the bridge.
Yeah, there's a stop sign.
He might be taking a U-turn.
We'll wait.
Well, there he goes. Well, now he's headed westbound. He's on the feeder at this point, and we'll see if he gets back on the I-10 freeway. But we saw no officer there. They usually lay the spikes, and when you're heading that speed, and it's always difficult, especially if there's so much traffic. But we'll see if he gets back on the freeway here.
There he goes, almost pushing that pickup truck out of his way as he approaches back onto the freeway again. We believe he's been traveling at very high speeds. And we hear that he is approaching Sheldon right now. I-10
there goes the on-ramp.
Westbound now, heading toward Beltway 8. Does he look as though he's slowed down a bit from when he was heading eastbound?
definitely had to slow down to take the U-turn to go back on the westbound side of I-10, but he's going to pick up speeds pretty quick. I just felt the power being kicked in Sky High, so he's going to get up there pretty quick, so we're going to try to get it on the side of him.
They have to wonder what he's doing because it's certainly heavier traffic. The more he heads west right now.
He's going to be hitting a lot of traffic once he gets inside the loop or inside even the Beltway.
Yeah,
he'll be hitting a lot of traffic. You know, and you wonder as well why they continue to run, because the helicopter, the police chopper, which could not catch up to him and was using our chopper, now is going to be able to easily spot him. Now, I believe, Andy, he's getting on the
Beltway,
the Beltway, right?
That is, yeah, northbound on the Beltway.
Yeah, he's going to be heading northbound on the Beltway, okay.
And again, if you're just tuning into us, we believe from initial reports, again, this is a breaking news story, that this is a murder suspect who carjacked someone to get into the vehicle that he or she, I'm saying he, but we haven't confirmed that. It looks though from the picture we saw earlier that it's a male. But this person has carjacked someone and is now been fleeing from police for 10 minutes. And again, we say fleeing from police, but there hadn't heretofore been a police officer inside. What did you just say? I'm sorry, Brenda, our producer. Okay, Harris County now joining in on the pursuit of this suspect.
So to get you geographically located here, he is now headed northbound on the Beltway. So northbound on the Beltway, just north of I-10. And police officers, Harris County constables, deputies in pursuit here, trying to catch up with this guy.
We still don't see any officers on the road.
We haven't seen anyone.
Do you
You're right.
yet?
But Andy, I assume they're behind him somewhere. Have you seen any?
HPD helicopter just showed up on scene. I know that my pilot's trying to drag him into the scene, and I believe they're behind him. It's very hard. I'm on the left side of the aircraft, and unfortunately, the northbound lanes of the east coast are on the southbound side. So
wow,
it's going into feeder road. I mean,
really
the
going
shoulder of the road, I should say, several times, and it looks bumpy when he does so. You can tell that he's moving awfully fast at a quick clip.
It's so frightening to see this type of speed right there on the freeway, because could you imagine if some vehicle just suddenly turned his direction? I mean, it would be awful. So,
well, if someone doesn't realize he's coming up on them so quickly and they change lanes without being aware that he's run up on them so fast, since he is traveling so fast. You still think that our helicopter is traveling at about 110 miles per hour to keep up with him?
Let me check with the pilot real quick. 105 miles an hour actually right now.
Wow.
Not sure what kind of car we're dealing with. It just looks like a small, sedan, some sort of Honda or Toyota sedan, running into a little traffic here.
Slow down a little bit
on the Beltway. Or is he exiting the Beltway?
No, it looks like he just changed lanes there. And we do understand that HPD has been relying on us to provide their picture of this murder and carjacking suspect because they just arrived at the scene a few minutes ago. We've been tracking this for you now on the air about 10 minutes and sometime before we took it live for you.
Yeah. He's going to run into some trouble here because this is still the Beltway, but the Beltway ends right about where it appeared as though he was exiting, because eventually you'll run into some stoplights here on this northbound Beltway as it swings around to the other side.
We're told he's approaching Highway 90. There's some construction going on in this area, so the suspect may have to slow down from the very high speeds that he or she has been traveling at for the past 15 or 20 minutes or so.
90 east now he is headed on, so he was from northbound Beltway, now 90 east, headed back east, and you can see the police chopper above him there. We have not seen any deputies in pursuit, but we can only assume they are there somewhere. But what they do in these circumstances, they immediately call ahead on the road he's at, and then they attempt in some way to try and lay spikes if they have that opportunity. But you really have to have the correct circumstances to be able to just lay those strips.
It's a tough one, in part because when we talk about where he's been so far, he started off I-10 heading eastbound, did a loop around, went I-10 westbound, then got on the Beltway and then onto 90 east. That certainly illustrates why it'd be so difficult to get in front of a vehicle, because you don't know which way the driver may turn, and when he or she, as it appears now, may simply change directions on you or change freeways. And there we go. Looping back on 90 now. it looks as though he may be going westbound. Is that westbound now on 90 or the frontage road simply?
No, it is westbound 90. You are correct on that.
Yeah, there he goes getting back on.
All right, so he's trying to draw police into circles here and get them somewhat confused. But you know what? When you're in the air, you just can't confuse the police. They have the bird's eye view of what you're going to be doing, and they know exactly where you're at. So
he may have a false sense of security, for lack of a better word, because there really are not a lot of officers on the ground. We haven't seen that. Oftentimes we see that in a chase, but so far he's been able to at least elude ground pursuit. But like Art just said, it's once the helicopters get over you, they're not going to lose you.
You know, and to remind the viewers as well why police are pursuing this so aggressively as well. This man is considered armed and dangerous under the words of police because he is an armed suspect who is
now
accused
it looks as though he's slowing down.
Well, what's he going to do?
Turning around there.
He's turning around on the old...
Again, this is 90 westbound. He just...
Okay, now
this is very
bad.
dangerous.
Yeah, now he's going the opposite direction on the feeder on 90 East.
Now we see an officer at the scene. And I was thinking that the fact that he turned around might suggest that he's feeling like they're closing in on him on the ground.
So he's going to be going...
It looks like he's alone in the car. That's a decent shot. We can tell it's a male by that shot. Right. And it doesn't look as though there's someone else in the vehicle. Again, Andy, help us out now. Exactly what road he's on now?
I'm trying to figure that out for you guys right now.
I understand. It's tough because he's twisting and turning now. Yeah. He's squirming there on the ground because we certainly can see that he senses it's getting tighter for him. But there's not traffic here, but this, of course, is just a two-lane roadway, so he's not going to be able to go as fast here. But he's also not meeting resistance in terms of finding other
and he must have turned around, and we couldn't actually see it, but there must have been police perhaps...